To second base, Tommy Edman. Low throw, Freddie Freeman with the scoop. And the ball game is over. Oh my goodness. Dodgers win. They're up 2-0 as they head home to Los Angeles.
From MLB.com, this is the Morning Lineup Podcast. I'm your host, Will Leach. Today is Tuesday, October 7th, and every single League Division Series has gone 2 games now, which means I've got a lot of updating to do. For 6 innings on Monday, Jesus Luzardo was, as they say, cruising. Phillies starter was matching 2-time Cy Young winner Blake Snell pitch for pitch, tossing 6 shutout innings, giving up just 1 hit and 1 walk against the mighty Dodgers. Problem was, that was exactly as many hits and runs as Snell had allowed against the mighty Phillies. So the score was tied zip-zip as Luzardo came out to the 7th, and you can see what Phillies manager Rob Thompson was thinking. Luzardo hadn't even thrown 75 pitches. The Phillies bullpen had just blown a lead in Game 1. The Phillies fans were roaring for Luzardo, so Thompson let him go back on the mound, and then it all fell apart. Game 1 hero Teoscar Hernandez singled, followed by a double from Freddie Freeman. Thompson pulled Luzardo then, but it was too late. After Ryan Kerkering struck out Tommy Edman, Kike Hernandez chopped a grounder toward Trey Turner. Teoscar streaked home to score the first run of the game, but then things really got out of control. The bases loaded and 2 outs, Will Smith, who came in midway the game for the second time this series, came to the plate.
Will Smith, first ball swinging, line drive down, base hit. Freddie Freeman is in to score. Hernandez right behind him, and Will Smith delivers with a 2 RBI single.
That made it 3-0. A Shohei Ohtani single made it 4-0, and it looked like the game was over. But this isn't the Phillies' first rodeo. They weren't exactly going to roll over. That never happens at the rodeo. After scoring a run in the 8th, the Phillies rallied again in the 9th. Down 4-1 with 2 runners on, Nick Castellanos did this.
Line drive over Muncy's head. It's down the line. It'll score 2. Castellanos trying for second. The throw. He is safe. They call it safe at second base. And Castellanos delivers a huge hit and brings life to Citizens Bank Park. It's a 1-run game here in the bottom of the 9th.
So, the Phillies would end up with a tying run on third and the winning run on first. 2 outs, with the NL batting leader Trey Turner coming to the plate to face newly minted relief ace Roki Sasaki. It was an extremely intense moment.
Ground ball to second, scooped up by Edman. He throws first, dug out by Freddie Freeman. He picks it and saves the game. That's a win for LA.
Boy, in a routine play, it comes down to Freddie Freeman making the backhand pickup.
And just like that, the Dodgers have a vice grip on this series. Final score was 4-3, and the Dodgers have a 2-0 series lead with both wins coming in Philadelphia. They're 1 win away from advancing to the NLCS for the 4th time in the last 6 years and ending the Phillies season. The series gets another day off as the teams fly west for Wednesday's Game 3 at Dodger Stadium. It's sure going to be a long trip for the Phillies, who are 1 game away from having their postseason dreams extinguished early once again. Phillies have had another great season and have so much going for them, but it's tended to be the case for the last couple of years. The Dodgers seem inevitable.
Got him! Uribe strikes out the side in the 9th, and the Brewers have a stranglehold in this series.
Jackson Chourio, the Brewers outfielder who is still somehow only 21 years old, went 3 for 3 in Game 1 of the NLDS on Saturday against the Cubs before pulling his hamstring and having to leave the game. When he was asked about the injury post-game, Brewers manager Pat Murphy worryingly said, "Obviously it's real scary. It could be devastating." Hearing that, we actually wondered if you'd see Chourio again in 2025, particularly after an MRI of Churio's hamstring on Sunday was inconclusive. So it was pretty surprising to see Chourio back in the lineup already for Game 2 on Monday night. And even more surprising when, in the 4th inning, Chourio did this.
Chourio with a drive, center field, way back there, and gone! A 3-run shot from Jackson Chourio, and the Brewers lead 7-3.
Chourio apparently heals very fast. Oh, to be 21 again. Churio's homer was one of 3 hit by the Brewers on Monday as the Brew Crew pounded the Cubs into submission, winning 7-3 and taking a commanding 2-0 lead in the series. Andrew Vaughn and William Contreras also homered in the evening. It really was a downright barrage in Milwaukee, and they scored, remember, all 7 of those runs with 2 outs.
You got to find a way, and if you have different ways to win, if you just rely on one thing, it's harder to win. So I'm really pleased we did. I mean, Vaughn's home run, and then Contreras and Churio's homers, I mean, was the difference in the game. But you don't see that from the Brewers very often. But it was great it did, you know.
Cubs looked a little shell-shocked, and why wouldn't they be? They are now 1 game away from eliminations as both teams get a day off before taking the short trip down to Wrigley for Game 3 on Wednesday. The Brewers have had a special season, winning the most games in team history and feeling sort of blessed for months now. With 1 more win, they'll make their 3rd NLCS ever and their 1st since Jackson Chourio was 14 years old. Bez hamstring healed pretty fast then, too. After the break, the teams in the American League Division Series had Monday off, but that's the only day off they're going to get. What I'm trying to say is they're going to play on Tuesday, and I'm going to preview the games after the break. It's a tease.
The 1-1 from Tyson. Bautista with a drive. Deep left field. No doubt about it.
Next week, it will have been 10 years since Jose Bautista hit a go-ahead 3-run homer in Game 5 of the 2015 ALDS against the Texas Rangers and did the most epic bat flip of all epic bat flips. I think that bat, a decade later, is still in the air somewhere. The great baseball writer Sam Miller called Bautista's homer psychologically violent, and it's one of the greatest moments in Blue Jays history, a franchise that knows a big postseason homer when it sees one. One wonders if we're going to be talking about this one from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in Game 2 of their ALDS against the Yankees this year for the next decade.
Swinging a deep drive, left field. That ball is soaring out of here. A grand slam. Hit yourself all you want. You will not wake up from this dream right now.
The Toronto Blue Jays came into the weekend having lost their last 7 postseason games over the span of 4 series in 9 years. And then they showed up and just rampaged the Yankees, outscoring them 23-8 in front of some gloriously rowdy Canadians, culminating in that Vlad Jr. grand slam and, yeah, epic bat flip. What the Blue Jays are doing to the Yankees right now is, well, as Miller might say, psychologically violent. But it won't really matter if they can't finish off the Yanks, and their first chance to do so is Tuesday night in the Bronx. With the Jays up 2-0, the Yankees are relying on Carlos Rodon to keep their season alive, which isn't the worst idea. He pitched last week in Game 2 of the Wild Card Series when the Yankees were facing elimination against the Red Sox and kept them alive to fight another day, doing well enough that they're actually playing today. The Jays will be starting Shane Bieber, the former Cy Young winner they pilfered from the Guardians at the trade deadline. Either the Yankees will live to fight another day, or the Jays will reach their 8th ALCS ever and their first since 2016, and it will be a long, tumultuous winter in the Bronx. First pitch is at Yankee Stadium at 8:08 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1.
Line drive, down the line, that's a foul ball, and the Mariners take the lead. Julio Rodriguez has come up clutch yet again.
Wow, was it ever loud in Seattle? My ears still hurt, and I wasn't even there. Now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably turn the volume down on my TV at least a little bit. The Mariners crowd was clearly dialed up and dialed in for the first 2 games of its ALDS with the Tigers, and as exciting as that Julio Rodriguez double in the 8th inning was, it did in fact get them only 1 win. The series is in fact tied and headed back to Detroit, a place that, it should be said, is kind of excited about its baseball team as well. And now the Tigers have the home field advantage. They're going to be pretty happy to be home too. They have not had a home game since September 21st, and in fact have not won a home game since September 6th. September 6th, that was more than a month ago. The Rockies have won a home game since September 6th. There isn't much more pivotal than Game 3 of a tied series, particularly in this one, with Tarek Skubal, the best pitcher on earth, waiting in a potential Game 5. So there's going to be a lot of anxiety at Comerica Park on Tuesday. First pitch is at 4:08 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1, with Jack Flaherty taking the hill for the Tigers and Logan Gilbert making his first start of the postseason for the Mariners. I am stressed out already. And that's all for today's Morning Lineup Podcast. Thank you for listening. Please be sure to give us a rating and review and tell everyone you know about this podcast. Matt Monaghan will be with you tomorrow. I personally will not be back with you until we are well into the League Championship Series, which sounds like it's a really long time, but is really just next week. Enjoy all the baseball business. There's a whole bunch of it every night. They keep making these games. It's pretty wild.